Good morning, everyone. Let me start by thanking everyone who helped to bring us together today, including our host, the Committee on Race and Diversity, the MLK Planning Committee, and the Office of the ICEO. I want to express my deep admiration to our student speakers today, our incredible student speakers, Nikaya and Dejan. You make me, and quite frankly, all of us, extremely proud. Thank you. Well, as you have heard, today's theme comes from Dr. King's most famous speech. He spoke at a moment when the nation was rocked by painful inequality and violent suppression. Yet somehow, even in the face of so much turmoil, he was hopeful. And he made it clear that to remain true to its ideals, America's Bank of Justice owes everyone the same essential guarantee of freedom and equality. Today we obviously have not conquered discrimination, inequality, and violence. But I believe we can see some signs that the story is changing. And we can certainly see opportunities for each of us to accelerate that change. As one obvious and impressive example, let's take a moment to appreciate the fact that the US Congress is now the most diverse in our nation's history. And that is thanks to people like our own representative, Ayanna Presley from Massachusetts. Because of the perspectives and life experiences of these elected leaders, they are changing the story, and they are transforming our national debate. What's more, sometimes now, even on occasions when the old story of racism seems most obvious, we can see subtle but important signs of change. For instance, it turns out that more than one current political leader in Virginia participated in the terrible tradition of dressing in blackface. In 2019, this is painful. But even in this discouraging story, I believe there is an important thread of hope. In Dr. King's time, for powerful white men to have worn blackface back in school would have been routine. Today, fortunately, finally, it's a public outrage. I hope that together, slowly, although perhaps much too slowly, we are learning. At the same time, I want to acknowledge a recent painful event on our own campus, which refers to this morning already by our speakers. Last week, in honor of Black History Month, the Black Students Union transformed Lobby 7 with spectacular posters and images. And then one morning, someone defaced one of the posters by drawing the shape of a large swastika. We do not know who drew it, and some words under the drawing make it difficult to be certain what they intended. But regardless, the act was disturbing. As someone who grew up in a family of refugees from Eastern Europe, I certainly and painfully feel the shock of seeing a swastika. But I must tell you, in this case, I was infinitely more impressed by how our community responded. Within minutes, the BSU students had replaced the damaged banner. Very quickly, our bias response team, including the MIT police, was on the case. And at the earliest opportunity, Vice President and Dean for Student Life, Susie Nelson, and interim ICEO Alice Johnson, wrote to the community to share the facts. They offered support and they reaffirmed our values: empathy, compassion, inclusiveness, and respect for all. And right away, BSU leaders Calvin Green and Mimi Wahid wrote a letter to the tech. It included these lines: though this act of hatred disturbs us, it neither destroys us nor diminishes our power. We remain grounded in the strength of our community. To me, this represents the very best of MIT. Clearly, it's not possible to prevent every damaging act. But when we come together to support each other on our campus, we change the story for our own community. And I believe that in doing so, we help to change the larger story too. I want to close by highlighting an important example of how the people of MIT can take action to change the story of the future in a very MIT way. I'm sure some of you know or have read about Joy Blangwini. Joy, are you here? Could you please stand up? Just a quick question. Did I royally mispronounce your last name?
Oh, you're good.
Joy is a graduate student. You can sit down. Joy is a graduate student, unless you want me to embarrass you while you're standing up. Is a grad student at MIT. She describes herself as a computer scientist, the founder of the Algorithmic Justice League, and a poet of code. You will find her hard at work in the MIT Media Lab, that is when she's not busy speaking on the TED stage, or participating in the World Economic Forum in Davos, or advising the Federal Trade Commission on policy. Most recently, she wrote about her work in the Optimist issue of Time magazine. The world is taking notice because Joy discovered that some facial analysis software literally could not detect her dark-skinned face as a face until she put on a white mask. She has also found that many commercially available systems tend to recognize the faces of black women as being male. The problem stems from the fact that such systems are typically trained by using large data sets of images, primarily of light-skinned men. The result is what Joy calls algorithmic bias. And as she observes, algorithmic bias, like human bias, results in unfairness, and algorithms can spread bias on a massive scale and at a rapid pace. Today, Joy is on a campaign to reveal and to root out this kind of bias in global systems that touch all of our lives. I believe her work matters greatly on its own, and for that, I thank her. But I also take it as an inspiring reminder of how, at this moment in the history of technology, the people of MIT have a unique opportunity to make a vital difference. In 2 weeks, the Institute will celebrate the launch of the MIT Stephen A. Schwarzman College of Computing. A critical goal of the college is to educate the young people who will shape the future of artificial intelligence. We're putting ethics and societal impact at the center of that education. And I very much hope that in doing this, with the help and inspiration of Joy and many others at MIT, we can help to change the story for everyone. And now it's my pleasure to introduce today's keynote speaker, Rasan Hall, Director of the Racial Justice Program for the American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts. Through a strategic combination of advocating on Beacon Hill, pursuing targeted lawsuits, and engaging people in their neighborhoods, Rasan works to advance racial justice in communities across the state. His experience ranges from having served as an assistant district attorney in Suffolk County to being an ordained reverend in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. We're all eager to hear his perspective today, so please join me in giving a warm MIT welcome to Rasan.